YouTube, Brian Phillips. We've got a box. We're gonna open it right now. Super exciting. All new, except it's not. You'll see. So if you're brand new to Brian Phillips RC, welcome to Brian Phillips RC. We unbox them, we build them, we set them up, whatever it happens to be, whether it's an airplane, helicopter, quad, VTOL, truck, car, all new from Blade, kind of. The mCX Anniversary Special Edition. This is a throwback coaxial helicopter, so there's no tail feather, or there is a tail feather, but there's no tail rotor, okay? So this is one of the cool things that we had when we were kids, and when I say we were kids, technically we were adults.
Yes.
But one of the first helicopters we had was a coaxial helicopter, and so this is kind of exciting for us. We're gonna see if it's any good, and it's an anniversary edition. This is one of the most popular selling aircraft helicopters ever from Blade. So it's an anniversary for Blade, it's an anniversary for Horizon. I don't know which one's which, so I'm just gonna go with.
It's the 20th anniversary for Blade. And the 40th anniversary of Horizon.
Okay, so if you buy this in the ready to fly, ours has some extra goodies in it. This is not necessarily included, but you might wanna pick up a 210 milliamp hour 1S pack. And this is what's gonna come in yours if you buy it as a ready to fly. Now this is obviously sub 250. It's designed to be flown indoors. One of the best parts of buying a Blade Heli is you're gonna get all these goodies that come with it. And in our case, they included an extra battery just to show that the 210 does work, okay? So let's pop it open without further ado.
I can link to the 210 too, so it's easy to find.
Yep, that's right. We'll link to all that stuff, just like we always do in our product reviews. Okay, so we have a regular Spectrum. It looks like this is the, it's got mode 1, mode 2. That's interesting. I wonder if you can change. But either way, there are batteries that you need to put in here. Ours didn't come with batteries, but yours probably will, and they'll be in this cavity here. So 4 AA, so we'll grab those in just a quick second. And then look how light and small this thing is. It's ridiculously dinky. And then we've got little motors here that run that, and then we have little servos there. What do the servos do? So it's counter-rotating props, 2 little dinky motors, and then there's 2 servos that actually drive the pitch angles of those blades too, which is so weird. So this is collective pitch. I don't understand this. It's so weird because I've never had this helicopter, but I thought it was just a coaxial, but I think it's actually a collective pitch to a certain extent. What is this thing? mCX.
It does say coaxial helicopter.
Oh, okay.
Right underneath. I had to read it.
Ah, yes, yes. So ultra micro coaxial helicopter. So we're gonna see how it works. I don't know how this works. Let's show you how the conventional battery that comes with it's gonna charge, and then we'll also set up this one to charge as well right now. Now there's gonna be a couple of different ways you can charge these batteries. Full disclosure, we're gonna show what comes in the ready to fly. You can't buy this in a smaller package in a bind and fly, and you can bind it up. But is that SLT2? I guess I didn't pay attention.
I don't know.
So we'll have to find out the answer to that question. SLT2 would be kind of the cheaper transmitters, the Batman controllers, if you will. So plug this into your own, not provided with the kit, charger. We'll try to do it so you can see. Comes on with a flashing light, and then this is keyed, so you can only put it in one way, and it starts charging. Now, what I like to do, we're just gonna pop this open real quick. What I like to use, and we've been using these for years when we get these smaller helicopters and airplanes, we get these chargers and they have been lifesavers, okay? So we have this charger and I like it. I wrap the cable around, it goes into a drawer, it stores away nicely. And then I come around here with the cable. I don't have to make a big mess of it. We plug it in and then blammo rammo, it's ready to rock and roll. It's got 4 different chargers on it. This thing is about what, like 50, 60 bucks?
Yeah.
We'll link to it as well. And then you have all these different styles of plugs, which is really nice. So of course on this one, you've got the micro pH connector here, or the UM, they call it on this. It's keyed so it only goes in one way. So if you get it wrong, you'll know because it won't slide in. So once you're plugged in, you'll click this little scrolly wheel, scroll in how fast you want it to go. So this is in point amps. So the amps are 210 milliamps. So you're gonna scroll this into 0.21. that would be charging at 1C. Okay. Once it starts, it's going to populate the screen with your voltage, and that red light's going to turn green. When it's done, it'll flash. Okay. Now, if you want to charge it faster, you can click this, and then you can scroll in a higher. So I'm going to charge this at 2C. So because that's a 50C pack, so it's a little bit higher discharge rate, so you should be able to charge a little bit faster. So if that's 210, I'm going to go to 1.2, so that'd be about 2C, and it's going to start charging. So it looks like that's about the maximum current rating. So if you look real close here, it'll say up to 1.2 amps. Okay, so that's going to charge a little bit faster. Oh, and then by the way, when you scroll this wheel, you can see different values here. It's got the voltage, but then I think if you click once, it'll say the amps, and then it'll show how many milliamp hours have actually gone into the pack, which is really nice. I don't know, it might actually just scroll through those values. I'm gonna click again, it says 7. So you can see how many milliamp hours have gone into it, which is really nice because you can tell if you're actually charging the pack. And that's one of the demonstrable problems we found with these little micro batteries, is that it's hard to tell if they're actually taking charge or not. And they tend to be, you know, something that you use a few times and then they sit for a long time in our application. So if you use them a lot, they work well. And then when you stop using them for a couple of years, they fall out of charge range. So, all right, that all being said, obviously you have all the goodies to store and package this back up, which is kind of nice. You've got a little packing handle here. Okay, so that should make that nice and easy to store away. One thing I do like about Horizon's packaging is it tends to be some of the heavier and nicer packaging, and that makes a big difference because if you're gonna keep this thing in the package, it's gonna tend to keep itself alive for longer. Okay, so next we're gonna get batteries and come right back. All right, so because this little warning label is going to obviously be something I don't wanna see on this helicopter, I'm gonna be cutting it off, but just be super duper careful that when you slide your scissors in there, that you don't cut the cable, because that cable is very small. And yes, you can pull hard enough to yank that right off of your board, okay? So that's a multi-purpose board. It's going to act as a receiver and it's gonna have a couple of servos, okay? This is a carbon fiber rod. And yes, you can take this off 1, 2, 3, and 4 grommets, but you don't have to take it off at all to load the battery, which is really nice, okay? So when you load the battery, it just slides in and you can plug in your battery here. Okay, so, but let's talk about batteries for the transmitter. Slide it in, slide it in, slide it in, and you've got the negative. Slide it in toward the spring. And I evidently turn it on immediately. And then they talk about the binding procedure. It's pretty straightforward there. And then this goes up and down. There's also a push button. I don't know if that's supposed to actually be a button on this one. Yep. So as you press, so that must be a high and low rates. So I'm assuming, and then we'll use this. Now, the thing that's nice about these Horizon products is we don't have to assume, but since you're watching Brian Phillips RC, we're gonna do that. There are instructions inside of this box. We'll come back to those in a second after we get a battery. All right, so almost forgot to talk about this other little charger. This is another Spectrum offering that will allow you to charge up to 6 micro batteries. But the reason I don't like this, even though it's a few bucks less, is that A, I don't like that I have to use an adapter, okay? Compared to this, where this just comes with an AC plug, which is really nice. Now, if you're going to a flying field, which I'm not gonna bring that to a flying field, I'm gonna fly that in my living room, okay? This is going in here with a regular USB power supply, okay? But you can also insert a DC 6-volt plug, but only 6-volt plug. It does not come with that, okay? So this thing is nice because it's very small, but just to give you an idea of how this works real quick, we'll pop this out and we'll plug it into our same adapter. I don't know why I have a 90-degree, but I do. So then this thing, we'll just plug in here and it should populate the screen with some data. That charges at 350. Okay, so you select it. Then I think you can just press start. Okay, so it's started. So it's charging and it's got data, but if there was more than one cell on here, then you would see it populates different data. Now let's look over here for a second. So let's pull this one out. Watch what happens. Error. Okay, now watch this. I'll put this down into the 500 milliamp row. Okay. And then it's charging, but it starts them all at once or it stops them all at once. But then I can press, see, it'll just toggle. So you can see the voltage. So one of the other reasons why this is so much better is because it's smaller, okay? But remember, this thing does a lot of different battery types, and that's why we like it, because it's got this mCX connector. We find a lot of the other brands to use the mCX connector, and so as a result, we get more value out of this charger. Plus you can individually control 4 different chargers, and it's a little easier for the kids to load this one than it is to load this one, I've found, because this is only going to charge ultra micro 1S micro pH connector equipped batteries, which is a mouthful. Okay,
but if you were going to throw that box in your office and you want to be able to charge
radio controlled helicopter,
charge it off your laptop or whatever, you know, you could use your USB.
Yep. And so I'll plug this back in, and in order to restart it, you'll press and start like that. And then if this doesn't populate with voltage data, then you don't have it inserted, okay? Now, that's not to poo-poo that this thing does work. It's just more a matter of, I have never found myself using this particular charger. Even back when I was earlier on, I always went to some other charger. These things are gonna be a little bit similar because this is 350 milliamp hours, or milliamps, 350 milliamps, 350 milliamps, 350 milliamps, and then 500 and 500, okay? So you'll be able to set your charge rate up to 1.2 amps, up to 1.2 amps, up to 1.2 amps, and up to 1.2 amps, okay? So this is gonna be basically a better charger in general for a variety of reasons, but it's also a little bit more money, okay? My suggestion is, if you're buying a helicopter like this, maybe you're buying 2 of them, one for your husband or your wife, and one for yourself, or one for your kid and the other kid, or something like that. You're gonna have more than one battery.
Yes, absolutely.
And you're gonna wanna get them charged, and you're not gonna wanna dink around with it. So my suggestion is get this. Anyway, we'll link to all that stuff so you can make a decision, but just wanted to demonstrate that this does work in the ready to fly configuration. So if they do what they say they do, then we report as such. Okay, here on Brian Phillips RC, I'm gonna stop this short. Okay, once you click and hold, it will shut off. This is not fully charged, but it's about, let's call it 95% charged, okay? So a lot of times these Spectrum labels, I like to squeeze them or tip them, and that will fold that little tip over, and that's nice for certain applications. You can pull them, but you don't ever load them that way. You always slide it in this way, okay? How do you know? Because just trust me, try it the other way, it won't work. Because when you try to go the other way, it won't fit, okay? So this goes in, and just make sure you're not interfering with your little servos so you get your clearance. I don't know if I wanna try to put that in the body. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in the body. See? It goes in.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay? And this is gonna confuse some of you, but this is keyed, and the pins are up like on the top of this apparatus. So this is gonna go, excuse me, I said that backward. They're on the bottom. So this is gonna key in whichever way you mount it, okay? Okay, and just be careful. It's very, very, very light duty, okay? Because it's a super light helicopter, okay? All right, let's see what happens. A little bit of throttle. There it is, guys. Super basic, super simple, super easy, and it's just really rock solid. And these things are really fun because you don't have to be an expert pilot to fly them. In fact, the camera crew is gonna get really mad in just mere moments as I force her to fly this helicopter. But let's get over here and see if we can get a thumbnail picture, camera crew. Now I'm holding full forward and it just barely moves forward, okay? It goes back barely at all. And I think what's going on is it turns really solid, but there's just not much movement, okay? So this is pretty cool. It reminds me of some of the first helicopters that we've ever had, and they were just coaxial like this. Now, is this gonna replace other helicopters that we now have? Probably not, okay? But is it really fun and nostalgic? Yeah, it might be a little bit, and it's gonna be cheap. So it's always fun to have a cheap, kind of fun helicopter. Now, the other thing too is that when these blades get hit, you don't have to worry about cutting yourself. So, ow, and then shut off the power, but it's not gonna hurt yourself. And that's the key, is if you have a helicopter that's gonna be safe to use, you don't have to worry about destroying yourself, okay? It is making kind of a little bit of ruckus, so let's just take back off and see if it'll fly again. I'm gonna lay it back on its mains. Now I'm gonna take back off, and as you can see, it's just fine. It weathered the storm just fine. And just to give you another example, okay? I'm not gonna like run into my eyeballs, but this thing is gonna be a generically pretty safe. I don't normally like crash into myself with helicopters on this channel because this thing is gonna be more safe than virtually any other helicopter we have, okay? It's got really good cyclic rates, so like as you spin, it just does a great job. It's really fun. You do lose a little bit of altitude. You gotta kind of keep your thumb on the throttle. And then of course, if you wanna go forward, then it's gonna lean the whole swash a little bit forward, I think is how that works, or it changes the difference between the front and the back. And yes, you can actually kind of lean it too. That's surprising. I can't believe how good it controls. It's actually surprisingly, wow.
How good it controls.
I didn't know you could actually make it turn fast. Okay, so I'm gonna land, bounce. So what I wanna do now is I wanna figure out if there's a difference in rates. There's one beep, there's one beep. Now it's flashing, so let's go up. Okay, so as you can see, you can fly into the sink. And it doesn't seem to mind the sink, but the servos make this like weird, almost sounds like a speaker sound.
Yeah.
Okay, so pulling back. It does take a second to get its wits about it, I think. But it's like surprisingly easy to control. And you're not gonna over control it, I can promise you that. And there are trimmers, so trim forward, trim back. Let's go up a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is, it's walking forward just a little bit, go up. Oh. Okay, so now trying to trim it back. Oh no, it's going to the stratosphere. But it's easy to do. It just doesn't, it's not hard. Okay, camera crew is gonna take over.
Oh, you're gonna make me do it in the middle of...
Yeah.
Great.
Go up a little. There you go. Okay, now try not to run into yourself.
Okay.
Or the light.
My green light is flashing.
It's because I hit a button.
Oh, you hit a button?
You landed.
Hold
Why
on.
are you landing?
Okay.
Take back off before the speaker blows up. It's like really strangely satisfying to fly, isn't it? Because
it's kind of fun.
It's not super hard, and you definitely don't feel concerned for like your safety because you just demonstrated.
Like, what am I gonna do?
Like running into yourself.
Yeah.
So if you get this for the kids, you're not gonna be like, even some of the kind of the ready to flies that we've been doing recently, and they've been very good too. I don't feel near as comfortable handing the controller to camera crew. Do you feel pretty comfortable?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not good at flying it, but I'm not scared to fly it.
Well, I don't know if anybody is really that good at flying a helicopter like this. It is somewhat of a flyby suggestion. So can I trust you enough to walk right next to it?
Yeah.
Hi.
Probably.
Oh man, that's so cool. It's surprisingly fun. It just reminds me. I have forgotten how much fun it is to fly these things.
It's kind of fun.
Okay, good job, camera crew.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, so I'm gonna click the other stick and see what happens. I don't know what that does, but I'm sure it doesn't do anything good. Now, I don't know if you can actually turn off auto leveling because I don't think there is really anything other than this configuration.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
So we might have to actually, regrettably, read the manual.
Oh man.
But it's just really, it's fun. I actually really enjoy it. I was kind of like lamed out a little bit when I first saw it, but now I'm thinking reminds me how much fun it was to have these little coaxial helicopters. So if you guys are in the market for a coaxial helicopter, and yes, let's just do a flyby and just show you. Yeah, you're probably thinking, but look at all the amazing helicopters you've done in recent vintage. There's tons of them. They're right behind you. What are you doing with a coaxial helicopter? Well, you gotta start somewhere, folks. Some people don't have the budget for the more expensive stuff. Some people don't have the skills for the more expensive stuff. And I can tell you this right now, this thing is not hard to fly. But there are times it kind of has a mind of its own.
Refusing to move.
Now landing it is fun too. Okay, so, whoa, get into ground effect with it, and she really flies along. Okay, I have to figure out what the deal is.
It sounds like it has...
It's got gas or something. You know what it is?
What?
The battery's hitting. The battery is hitting the servos.
Way to go.
Okay, so let's try flying again. Okay, up you go. My battery was quite literally hitting the tips of the servos. I warned you guys about that. Oh, it's actually doing pretty good. I've got a lot more forward authority. Can we land atop a helicopter on top of an airplane? Does that count? Is that cool if we do it?
Probably. I mean, pick it.
Okay, so let's land on the F7F because it's laying out on the table.
Just don't tip it.
No, I know. I don't want to crash. Ooh, that's dangerous. Oh, don't do it. Don't you dare do it. All the uneven surfaces make the ground effect very creative here. Okay. Come on. There it is. There it is. Yes! No! We crashed in the middle of the other helicopter village. Okay, so let's try this again. I'm gonna take off from the F7F. How about that? Okay. So I'm gonna click again. Now we've got the flashy light, whatever that means. I think that's gotta be like a high rate versus a low rate. And I just don't know which one's the high and which one's the low because it seems to be considerably similar. Ooh, that angle just makes it hard, you know? Let's go out to the wingtip. See if I can get the wingtip landing. Here it is. Yes! We did it. You would think that would be easy, but it's actually not because the ground effect is just terrible on it. Okay, here we go, taking off. Oh no, everybody died. But that's the beauty of this thing. You don't even really have to worry about it. It's not gonna hurt you. It's not gonna hurt your airplanes, even your foam airplanes, okay? So without further ado, I am gonna just double check. I wanna show you guys what I was talking about. Ours sounded like it was having a conniption fit because when I pressed this in, it was rubbing my little
tab. Oh yeah, I see.
It was rubbing the servo. And so once I was rubbing it, it would hum because it was trying to find a position and it wasn't able to accomplish that. And so just be careful when you load your battery that your battery doesn't actually press in and interfere. Now that is a bigger battery, admittedly, than some of the batteries that you guys are gonna use is the 150 here. So let's check the manual real quick and see if there's anything super helpful in here. As per usual on Brian Phillips RC, we don't just show you the surface level stuff, we show you the deep dive. Okay, so camera crew is gonna be here. This is the manual. By the way, if you ever need to find a manual on Brian Phillips RC, follow the link like you're gonna buy the aircraft and then scroll down. Okay, so it talks about, okay, so transmitter setup for bind and fly for the NX series. What? So this is DSMX? No way. Is it?
Must be.
You're kidding. Okay, all right. If this is bind and fly, then I want to bind it. Let's bind it to our transmitter and see how this works. How do you bind it? What's the binding procedure?
Well, you'd have to set up a profile, right?
Okay, so let's do it. Guys, I'm gonna take this battery out. For those of you that are curious about what's going on with this, I'm just gonna go ahead and plug this in. I'm gonna charge it again. Man, we haven't used yeah, we're at about 3.86, so we used up a lot of it. So I'm gonna shut off the Spectrum transmitter. Is this DSMX then? Oh, it's DSM. Look.
Oh.
So I assumed it was SLT, but I guess it's not. So that is pretty awesome. So that means we should be able to use the NX10.
Okie dokie.
So that's what we're gonna do next. So we're gonna do NX10. You could do NX7E, you could do whatever. So.
Wait, hold on. Can we answer their question about
the rates?
Is that what we're looking at? Transmitter controls for ready to fly, dual rate selection. Here, read that little part.
Okay, so full change, partial change, depleted. Oh, okay. So before we do the bind and fly, let's go ahead and whip out this battery, which is done charging. The standard 150 is done. We're gonna go ahead and slide this in and we'll just learn together, guys. Okay, so put that in. This is gonna fit a little bit better, actually. Yeah, because it's not gonna be likely to hit that. Okay, so I'm gonna hold the battery with my thumb and forefinger and just get that plugged in. I'm gonna slide this back just so I miss. Then I'm gonna turn on my transmitter. Typically you want your transmitter on first, all the way up, all the way down. Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be happy about that. I think it's in bind mode right now. So if it's in bind mode now, I'm gonna actually turn this off. Okay, I'm gonna plug this back in because it's already bound. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so before we set up the NX10, which to be honest with you, I love the fact that I can use my good transmitter for this and it'll work fairly easy, but we'll come back to that. So taking off. So we've got the green light. So there you go. Well, it seems more responsive now, doesn't it? Or is that just in my head?
No, it does.
Because you remember, like, when I first took off, it would barely lean forward, barely lean backward.
Is that the smaller battery or the...
The smaller battery might make a little bit of a difference there. But as you can see, or I might just be more aggressive piloting. Okay, so let's land it. Okay. Now, I'm gonna click this button. It's gonna go to flashing green, and then it goes to solid green. So which button do you do this? There's one beep, there's two beeps. So how do you do it?
Here, the control sensitivity can be changed by pressing and releasing the right control stick. The LED on the transmitter will show solid for high sensitivity by default, or flashing for low sensitivity.
So what's that?
That's your charge indicator, your battery indicator.
Oh, okay. So what's flashing for what?
Flashing is low sensitivity, solid is high sensitivity.
Okay, so so this is low sensitivity. Now high sensitivity, yeah, baby. It's super sensitive
and
now.
And high sensitive would be by default.
I mean, this thing makes me not nervous at all.
No.
It's really nice.
I mean, I would let our youngest fly that.
Oh yeah, and he will.
Yeah.
It'll be super fun.
No, the battery, the light on your controller will change. That's your battery indicator. It goes to yellow.
So depleted as in the battery is depleted.
Green is fully charged, yellow partial, and red is
Should we demonstrate what it looks like when it hits my hair?
Maybe not that.
If you have kids with long hair, you don't want to crash into your long-haired kids. I already asked me how I know.
Yeah.
Should I fly by my balls? Let's go around both of them. Here's one. Yes, look at the shadow. Yes. Oh yeah, getting it done. And then we're gonna fly over here to the other giant ball. In this case, that'd be, well, it depends on which direction you're standing, but this is for me, the left ball. The right ball was over in the other entryway. Oh, that's so much fun.
The shadows are cool.
Let's go between these lights. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Very good. See, that's one thing that's nice about this, folks, is that you can just do it. You don't have to worry about having some catastrophic, disastrous crash, because like, who cares? Even if you did, it wouldn't matter, because this thing is so light, it's just probably not going to self-destruct. Now, that being said, I want to figure out how to bind and fly this because I think it'll be cool to do that. Okay. So our next step is going to be basically unplug this sucker. So it's unplugged, okay? We're going to turn off our transmitter. Then we're going to turn on our new transmitter. Well, in this case, not our new transmitter, but our NX10. Okay, we're going to show you how to do this. So we have to make a profile.
Yep, go back a page because I went to the...
One page back. All right. So one page back. Oh, look at that. Mode 1, Mode 2. Look at that. There is a Mode 1, Mode 2. Ha! How do you switch modes? Maybe you have to buy whichever one. Oh, well, it says mode 1, mode 2. I don't know. We'll come back to that. Okay, so if you're changing modes on here, you just set it in your system setup. So it's super easy. Okay, so cancel and back. Scroll down to add new model. Is it an acro? What are we creating? Airplane type, choose.
Airplane image.
Airplane model type. Oh, select an airplane model type. Okay, so cancel and back, add new model, create. It takes a little longer when you have like 4 trillion models in your transmitter. Mm-hmm. So it looks like all we have to do is set up dual rates in Expo, which is super nice. And that's all we're gonna have.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's it. But there's no other mode set up. Okay, so then we can go to, walk out of here. First thing I'm gonna do is set up throttle cut. I'm gonna turn it on switch H. Then I'm gonna walk out and go to rates in Expo. I'm gonna set it to my method, which is high-low. Okay, so we got 5% Expo. Then we'll do 10% Expo, like our median setting, and then I'm gonna do my higher Expo. Whoa, it scrolled way too fast. And then I'll drop the rates down just a little bit, so we have like our super sensitive rates. Now they want 70 and 5%, 70 and 5%, and then 110%, okay? So we're gonna have it as per usual in the middle setting here, okay? Oops, I forgot to assign that to switch F. So I'll assign it to switch F, and then I'll set, this will be like our sensitive setting, and then on this setting, we'll do 20. Now you're probably wondering, how do I come up with this? Well, this is just what I use pretty much all the time, and it just has worked well for us. And there's 3 axis of control, and you're probably thinking, but there's no rudder on this airplane. It's not an airplane. Well, just remember, a helicopter, you control 3 axis. Just like on an airplane, you control 3 axis. So we're gonna start in the middle. We've got a doubling effect, and we go back to the middle, and then we have a halving effect, okay? So we're gonna start there. Boom, 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 ready to go. So, oh, I suppose I should probably go into system setup, disconnect RF, and go to model name, and I'm gonna type in model name, which is, this is the Blade mCX, and we'll come right back after we type that in. All right, so I chose to put Blade mCX 40th Annie because I don't have enough to type anniversary. So we'll just walk out of here. So that's done. I mean, you don't have to do anything else, really. It's pretty simple stuff. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna be ready to bind, and you can also set up timers and stuff like that now, which is kind of nice. So I'll be ready to bind. And what you want to do is you want to plug this in without having your other transmitter on, okay? So once we plug this on, it's going to eventually go to a bind. Hear that noise? If you hear that noise, you're binding up your servo, okay? So now it's ready to bind. So then I'm just going to go to bind. Ha-ha! That is so sweet.
That's crazy. That was super easy.
That is so cool. Okay, so it reminds me of the Stoll.
The Apprentice Stoll?
Apprentice Stoll, yeah. Oh, by the way, this manual seems really big, but then there's only like a couple more pages, and then it goes to the exploded view diagram. One of the things that's so nice about this, there'll be parts available, and then over here, it goes into other languages, okay? And by the way, you hear that warning? You have telemetry. Oh, that is so sweet. So 3.9. So you can see what the voltage is. That is so crazy that we have all that. I'm gonna scroll into audio events, telemetry warnings, smart ESC. I want voltage warnings at 3.3. Smart battery. Nope. Don't care. Definitely don't care. And there's no imbalance to worry about. Okay, so that warning is at 3.9. Why am I getting a receiver warning at 3.9? Okay, so I'm gonna click. I'm gonna scroll back down to, ah, dang it, my scrolly's being dumb. Audio events. Generic reports, where is that one? Probably telemetry warnings. But I thought we just did that. Is it under volts, you suppose? That's inhibited. That's all off. Okay, so a smart ESC. It's not 3S. See, it's not 3 cells, it's 1 cell.
Maybe that's why it was doing it.
Oh, yeah. But there's no alarm set. See the activate?
Yep.
By the way, that was our charger that was beeping, guys, right there. So this one's full. So since we're landed, do you want me to just show you this? We'll just pull this out. We'll just put the bigger battery in. We'll unplug this. Now that we're already bound, I'll just demonstrate how this works. So remember, this is bound and this was bound, okay? So I'm just gonna walk out of our menu structure. Okay, so we're ready, throttle holds on, or throttle cut in this case. It's not throttle hold because it's not a helicopter profile. And then we'll slide this in. You just gotta be kind of careful that that doesn't rub your servos. So I wonder if you can just go out a little bit past. Oh yeah, that should keep it off of your servos. See, it's that inside one that it likes to hit. Okay, so then let's plug in the battery. So you kind of have to, I have to wrap around the whole aircraft like this, and then that makes it easier to plug in. Lay it on the table, let it get balanced out. Everything's working, throttle cuts off. Oh, that's so cool. That is so cool because it's like some old vintage thing that like works on brand new technology, which is really cool. Okay, so hold on. Let's see if we can do this, okay? So I'm trying to get it to be right there. Come here, come back here. Let's Enrique you. Get back over here. That's so cool. And then yes, it's like really, really easy to fly now. And one of my favorite things about flying these helicopters is when you can use really good control systems. So now I can trim and I can walk it whatever direction I want. I can bring that thing in and I mean confidently fly right between myself and the table. And it's really not hard. You can coordinate your turns. And really, I don't need much expo at all. I'm curious how it's gonna do. Can we fly above the fan? Oh yeah. Oh boy, that was I think it got a little bit confused because which way do we have that? It's blowing air down.
It should be blowing air.
It's blowing air down.
Oh gosh.
It's way up there.
I still wanted to knock it into something else.
Oh, you mean like, yeah, one of the mini
There's
planes.
only like a few.
The camera crew's having a conniption here.
Okay, I have a legitimate question because our kids won't fly probably on the NX-10. So is it, if they would switch batteries and just turn on the other transmitter, are we gonna have to rebind it?
Man, that's a really complicated spot up there, guys.
Yeah, it is.
It's like wanting to get sucked every time I go in there because of the angles.
Yeah.
But I really like flying. It's super fun. Do you want to try it on this? You see the difference?
Yeah.
Because it flies so different when you've got the, okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Do it.
It's just
it's like even easier to fly. Because like the sticks are bigger and it's like, give it more throttle, lots more.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah, so just fly it around. Like go forward and stuff. Like do things with it. Bring it down.
Hold on, I'm trying to
turn. There you go. That is so cool. I want to try. You gotta like fly down so I can try to show the humans that you're flying it.
That's why you're a bad camera crew.
Or you could use this thing if you want. Which is pretty awesome. So the bind and fly might actually be a good option.
It's easier to keep it level with the NX-10.
Level?
Like, or to keep the
levels.
No, I mean the throttle, like to keep it.
Oh, you mean to keep it at the same altitude?
Yes,
it's not barometrically controlled. It doesn't have any sort of an optical flow sensor that points down.
I can't fly and talk at the same time.
Fly towards yourself. Well,
that's scary.
Good thing you're not our pilot.
I'm not. There's a reason I'm not.
Okay, land it. Well, okay. did you? Was that you trying to land?
No, that was me.
No, oh my goodness. All right, take off.
I can land.
Take off and land.
Goodness
you can't end like that. That was ridiculous.
I can land.
Call yourself camera crew with that landing. Okay, just slowly lower the stick.
Hold on, I gotta be over the island. Oh! Okay.
It's gracious.
I can't actually do
What the heck is going on? Okay, hold on.
No,
right, just fly. Fly it like you stole it from me. Okay, I'm trying to show the people. No, don't go away. I'm trying to keep it in frame. Land it.
See, I can actually.
Wow.
Actually do it.
That was pretty amazing.
That's what happens when you ask me to fly on camera.
All right, so now just to show you, it can be flown. It's not hard to fly. And that's one of the reasons why I like this helicopter is because you have confidence. It's not gonna do something crazy. And even if it did do something crazy, we've now demonstrated that crashing it obviously is a very low consequence activity.
Yes.
Throttle cuts on and the stick is safe, which is really nice. I actually love the fact that you can do that. And so if you guys are looking to get this, we'll have links in the video description below. It's super fun. I mean, I admittedly, I was a little bit lamed out when I saw it at first, but I actually really enjoyed that experience. It was low stress, high fun.
Low consequence.
And low consequence. And you're not gonna hurt yourself, but it's like, it's got a fly bar. I mean, it's like all the things that we like don't have anymore. And yet it's still DSMX, which is really cool. Or DSMS. Maybe this is DSM. Is it DSMX?
Might just be DSM.
Maybe it's just DSM. I don't know. I didn't read it in the manual. So
here, it'll.
Will it say?
That knows.
What does it say?
It should say flight controller is the SPM 1046. So we'd have to look up what that is. It doesn't say DSM.
Well, let's just say it like this. I like the fact that it flies really easy. I like the fact that it's super low consequence. It's not going to damage stuff in your house, which is really nice. And it's not heavy enough to really like fall. Like it falls, it's just like, okay, whatever. Gravity doesn't matter to me. And the thing about it is with throttle cut and with the bind and fly, it's super nice because you can spend the time practicing with the controller that you'd be flying a more expensive, more complicated helicopter. Oh, and by the way, if you guys saw our video here recently, we just did the Blade. I'll just go ahead and land. See how you do that, camera crew? So we just did this Blade the other day, the Blade Revo 235 CP, and we haven't bound that up to the NX10, but we will eventually be doing that. And I'm gonna tell you what, I've had this thing in stunt 2 for the vast majority of my flights, and I've been doing crazy fun things with it. And it has been incredibly easy to transition from beginner, safe, full automatically leveling into the stunt 1, stunt 2. And I find myself going straight to stunt 2 because like if you're gonna do it, you might as well do it all.
Right.
And this has been an amazing training tool. And guys, we have a lot of really good helicopters. We have a lot of helicopters that are from Horizon that are very well done, some from Blade. And they are some of the most easy to take out of package and fly. I know some of you guys are kind of heli snobs. That's okay. I get it. Everybody has their own thing. Let's answer the camera crew's question now.
Well, okay. I think the fact that that will bind up to your NX10. If you had one of these 20 years ago and now you've way moved on and you have 400 other planes, you don't have to get the little ready to fly. You can get the bind and fly and use the transmitter that you're using.
Okay, so I turn this off. Okay, so I'm just gonna lay it aside. It's obviously off just to prove that. So I'm gonna turn this transmitter on. It is not gonna be bound.
Okay.
But what I'm gonna do is I'll show you the exact process for this. So I'll show you how it's not gonna work and then we'll do the exact process. Okay, so lay it down. And you'll notice that it is in bind mode, okay? And it's not gonna work because it's not bound. So you shut this off, then you follow the binding. Disconnect the flight battery. Push the left stick. Okay. So now you're in bind mode. Now it's bound. And now you're flying with the kids.
Cool.
So now you can do it just like you did it before, and that's how easy it is. Guys, I'm telling you, one of the reasons that Spectrum, well, I mean, there's multiple reasons that Spectrum has such a stronghold on the entry-level hobby-grade experience. It's not just because they're one of the biggest, but that is one factor, admittedly. but it's the fact that they make things actually work easy, okay?
Yeah.
There are a lot of other brands. There's cheaper, there's more expensive. There's a lot more expensive. People don't believe me. Trust me, just look, you can spend a lot more. One of the reasons that we ended up with Spectrum is partly because when I got into the hobby, I adopted some things from my grandpa, who's now passed away, and we shared a couple of years of enjoyment together. He had some Spectrum stuff. I had Spectrum stuff years ago when I was a kid, but it wasn't called Spectrum at the time, I don't think. I don't even know what brand it was, but it would have been stuff that was from Horizon. But either way, I just remember this. Anyway, I remember having stuff that he left me because they had downsized when they got a little bit older and moved away from the country. They moved into town, they had a smaller place, and I didn't touch it for years for whatever reason. We were just busy with other things.
We would have had young kids.
Yeah, that's right. And we didn't have any money to spend on any of this stuff. And now that we're a little bit older, we have a little bit more money to spend on stuff like this, and we kind of like do it.
Yeah. Well, and then we bought you that Blade CP1.
That's right.
A million years ago.
And it was so hard to learn to fly, but Blade was around at the time, and I'm just telling you this right now. When you're learning to fly, any advantage you can get is huge. And I'm telling you, switching from this to this in like seconds is kind of a big deal. You want me to let it crash? See? Like, I would never do that with virtually any other helicopter we have. Did it damage the light fixture?
Barely even moved it.
I didn't think, do you want to see what it's like to hit your hand with it?
Do you want me to show them
I mean,
that?
you can. I just, like, you'll end up getting hurt now.
Yeah, I know.
Just do it.
Oh, yeah, it like
See, it's like, it's kind of annoying, but it's like, oh, whoa, that could have been dangerous.
Well, I don't want to hit my camera.
Oh, that's what you're worried about?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not worried about myself.
At the end of the day, okay, what have we learned about this little creation? We have learned A, it's super fun. B, it's gonna be inexpensive. C, it does a lot of the fun stuff that you wanna do without any of the complexity that you don't wanna deal with. If you're just getting into the hobby, if you're brand new to the hobby, you just like, Brian, I need something I can find success with. It doesn't need to be a super scale little thing. It doesn't need to be the most sophisticated. It doesn't need to be the fastest. It doesn't need the most expensive. And by the way, there's a lot of people that come into the hobby with money and they think that that money makes them a better pilot. I'm gonna tell you this, it does not make you know how to fly, okay? You can be a commercial airliner pilot and you can know everything about avionics and about aircraft engineering and flight controls and talking to ATC and all the different things that you need to know to be a good pilot and not know how to fly something as simple as this. We'll help teach you here on Brian Phillips RC. We're gonna start you off, we're gonna get you started so that you can build your experience to the point where you can fly just about whatever you want, okay? And we're to the point now where we can fly almost anything we want short of turbines. And part of the reason we don't fly turbines is just because our environment doesn't necessarily allow for it. And we have so much invested in this property. Eventually we might end up doing that. But for now, that's not what we're set up for. But we can fly just about any other type of plane right now as it stands. And I'm telling you what, there's something freeing when you take the training wheels off of safe and you don't need it. But I'm gonna tell you, there's nothing wrong with having those training wheels for 6 months or a year, maybe even a couple years, and just using it as a backup plan when you get a little bit more advanced into your ranks of the airplanes. It is freeing to not have to use it, but it's also freeing to have it as a backup plan because then you can get into more sophisticated, more expensive, more complex airplanes, and you've got a backup plan to help protect you and protect your investment because crash planes are expensive planes and flying planes are what we all want. Okay, so real quick, we'll just reiterate how this works. Plug it in, click this. I'm gonna charge it at the same charge rate, which is a little bit speedy, and we're gonna let that charge. So very good. Remember, the ready to fly charger that comes with is right here, okay? The transmitter that comes with and the ready to fly is right here. The helicopter itself is right here. This would be extra, a lot extra, like multiple times the cost of the helicopter. But we have hundreds and hundreds of airplanes, pretty much most of the stuff you see in here, with the exception of the other ready to fly helis are in this room, are on this transmitter. But right now, what you are in need of is this little fun creation. So the mCX which is definitely a 1. It's like a 0.0.
Yeah.
0.025. It's very simple. This is obviously sub 250, but I know some of you guys are gonna wanna know, so the kitchen scale whips out. Yes, I work on industrial scales for a living, and I have a Taylor scale that costs $20 in my kitchen. That is 32 grams, guys, all up with the battery. Probably 30.
And that's the bigger battery.
That's the bigger battery. So guys, you could put like 6 of them together and still be legal to fly without remote ID. But if you want to fly with a remote ID, I'm just kidding. You're never going to fly with a remote ID. And by the way, full disclosure, when you fly inside, you never really need remote ID because it is not required on indoor flights. So you could have a 4,000 pound plane flying inside if you can fly it inside. Technically, it's legal as far as I know. Okay. So again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't even play one on TV. So I wouldn't listen to me for legal advice. Do your own research, figure out what you need to figure out. But I can tell you when you're sub 250, you're generically pretty safe. Okay. So that's what I would do if I was you, is I would just buy this thing from the links in the video description below. If you want to help support Brian Phillips RC, obviously smash the like button. If you enjoyed the video in any way, you know, I know there's some of you guys that are going to think, you know, that's not my thing. It's kind of lame. And that's fine. It's not going to be for everybody. But at the end of the day, there's always somebody that's brand new to the hobby. Let's not poo-poo those people who really enjoy something like this. And I'm going to tell you what, my experience, and yes, we have tons of other choices in this very room, in our basement, in our shipping containers, and soon to be damn gift shop, which is getting built probably this year. And that's just barring some sort of a weird unusuality that we didn't expect. It's gonna get built this year, okay? So there's always a certain level of appreciation that comes with a vintage offering like this that's allowing you to use all the latest and greatest technology and make it easy, quick, and fun. And so I think some of you guys wanna look back to yesteryear, you're gonna really enjoy this. Also, there's gonna be different bodies and parts available. I think there's like glowing kits.
I believe so. A different body.
That's right. And this body will come off super easy. It just pops off like regular grommets. I actually don't even want to take it off because I tend to break these things when I take them apart, but this does feel like it's got a pretty good shell on it. It's got a little bit of beef to it.
It's going to be a go-to for our kids.
They will like it.
Because it'll be easy to fly inside. It's a low consequence. They don't have to worry.
They don't have to be worried. And you got to remember, guys, if you fly like one of these other helicopters and you hit this F7F,
it's done. Somebody's
coming home and saying, what the F?
Yeah.
Okay, 7F.
7F.
Yeah, because, and that's part of the reality is that you probably don't realize this about me, but I actually really love this stuff, which is weird. I know it's hard to believe. We don't just do this so we can make money, but we do make money. And when we make money, that money gets all blown immediately.
Yes.
Right away, like into perpetuity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, it's already gone.
Whatever it is, it's gone. So
for a long time.
We're about to bring in some rocks so we can build another runway because one wasn't enough. We got to have a cross-run strip.
Right, yes.
And when the cross-run strip goes in, that's also going to act as our runway, driveway over the dam, which is why it's called the dam runway. So that's coming right around the corner. It's quite literally around the corner, and it is going to be awesome. We can't wait to share it. We have it about half built, and the sub base is coming in, and that's going to be about 240,000 pounds.
It's been a fun family week of projects.
Moving sod.
Yeah.
It's like
one's mad.
7,000 square feet of sod. It's super easy. When you review radio controlled airplanes, then moving sod comes with it.
It's just
evidently.
what you do, I guess.
So yeah, and we'll have updates and videos about all that stuff at some point. Not exactly sure how that's going to come out. But special thanks to Blade for working with us for as many years as they have, Horizon Hobby for working with us. And then obviously we have other competitive brands we work with. But this is a video about this beautiful anniversary product. So we're really happy to be working with product lines that are good and exciting and things that we want to see. And so long as they keep doing the things we want to see and they keep letting us tell the full truth, nothing but the truth, so help us God. And they do, because at the end of the day, I could say this thing sucks balls. And I would say that if it sucked balls. But the truth is, even if it did suck balls, there's some people that are into that sort of thing. And that is between you and yourself. And I'm just saying, like, some people love these little simpler helicopters. They don't want to spend $1,000 or they don't want a $685 plane or helicopter that is going to break the bank and possibly crash into their face. It's just like this one crash in your face. If you close your eyes, you should be okay.
Don't try that.
Yeah, don't try that at home, guys. But truthfully, do try this at home. because it is a very fun flying aircraft, and they did everything they said they were gonna do, and it does a nice job. So what's there to complain about that? And at the end of the day, here on Brian Phillips RC, we wanna help teach you guys the questions, the answers to your questions that you didn't know you had because you were just getting into the hobby. And if you're just returning to the hobby, there's about 4,000 questions you're gonna have. We're gonna help walk you through the entire process from start to finish so that you can enjoy a product that you might not otherwise been able to enjoy. And we do that repeatedly over and over and over and over again. Because at the end of the day, we literally have thousands. So what are we, like 2,700 videos right now?
Something like that.
That you can watch right now. So you can compare, contrast this helicopter up against other helicopters you've done, or up against this F7F if you want. Which, by the way, that F7F is great, and it's made by a competitive brand, but guess what we've got in it? We've got Spectrum equipment in it. Why? Because we want it to be the best flight experience. And we're gonna teach you how to not only install it, but then set it up from start to finish. There's many people online that will show you how to start something up 60% of the way. And guess what? Those 40% are like, oh, I don't know what to do. Help me, help me, help me. We'll help you by showing you 100%. And that's why our videos are long, and I'm also long-winded. So that being said, this battery's full. My kids want to fly this helicopter, and so we're gonna let them do that next. We're not gonna film it. We're just gonna enjoy that as a family, and it's gonna be super fun. So guys, if you wanna help support Brian Phillips RC and the RC exploits that we're living right now, which is awesome. Should we show them the plans? We just showed the plans?
We can, yeah, we can do that.
Okay. All right, guys, so we're gonna land in the damn gift shop, all right? So yes, we'll just fly by and conspicuously go next to the plans. Yes, it's folded over because it's got all our address information on it. Oh boy, look at that, amazing. And then we're just gonna go try to land in the damn gift shop. I think it's gonna be slightly bigger in real life, but let's see if we can get this thing done. Here we go. All right, you ready? There it is, we landed in the damn gift shop. So this 45 foot by 18 foot hydraulic door is gonna be kind of handy for combines and stuff.
And small 33 gram helicopters.
The 33 gram helicopters might fit through the door.
Fly it in the damn gift shop when it's
That's right. And it's gonna be so cool, and we cannot wait to share it. And guys, you're helping to make this happen. The aerodrome on Brian Phillips RC is gonna be amazing. And some of you have been here. If you've been here, if you've flown with us, we always have a really good time doing that. So hit us up if you're coming through. We have subscriber specials to help show that. So if you're curious, just look up the subscriber specials. And if you want to look up anything else on Brian Phillips RC, check it out, bprc.me or brianphillipsrc.com. Also ways to support us, Patreon for one-time donation or for monthly support, YouTube super thanks for one-time support, YouTube members, and then PayPal. All of which are always appreciated. But at the end of the day, we'd rather you get in the air and out of the chair, and we're gonna help do that here on Brian Phillips RC. So check the links, buy one for yourself. Come back for more. Thanks for watching.